So, and at that time, we were not so much advanced with prayers, so we would repeat our Father who art in heaven until our dad was done with prayers. So, and after that kind of prayer and good lifestyle, my parents were busy. So they would walk out, they would go do whatever they were doing, the hustle. They used to sell, how do we call it? It sounds good in Kiswahili, which was a samaki.
Oh, which was a samaki. Yeah.
which are basically the bones, you know, the way the fish is being skinned, then you take away the fillet, then there is that bone. So that bone is what they used to sell.
I actually like the soup from that.
The soup, it's basically for soup, but for us it was food. Now, they will leave us with the uncle. So with the cousin. He will take me to a place called Kameda. Then he will take me, it depends on the day. Sometimes he will do me a changa, that is illicit brew, or bang. And after that, when I'm not feeling well, he will take me back home and tell my parents that I'm sick.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Rinari, and you're watching Art in Heart. This is your show against all odds. Now, when life hits us so hard with the goings and comings of life, some of us tend to have an escape goal. Actually, not some of us. All of us, we tend to have that one thing that we always run to. And that's our story for our guest today. Drug and substance abuse. Felix Otieno.
Yes.
Karibu sana to the show.
Asante.
Right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Felix, I serve as a missions coordinator in one of the churches in Nairobi.
Okay.
I'm so passionate about reaching to humanity. I call it, I find the lost and develop the found, because that is the essence of my existence.
Okay. What is your upbringing? How does this story relate to your life?
I was born in Kawangware, Congo.
The famous Congo.
The famous Congo, to be specific, in Nairobi. It's one of the slums. And Congo is best known because of, by then, of drugs. We have the best illicit brew. We call it changa.
By then is how back? How many years back?
Some years back, because I was born, I hate the history. I don't know if the name Congo came because of the lifestyle. Number one, most drugs and alcohol, something that used to happen in DRC Congo. That's the origin of the place. So the kind of lifestyle, and most of the people in that particular place are not Kenyans. Most of the people living in that particular region are Ugandans.
People who live in Congo.
Yeah, majority of them are Ugandans. So they used to come from different places, and one of the things they used to do is to prepare alcohol. That's one of the source of living. Like I remember on waking up on weekends from Friday evening to Monday, it was normal to see people lying on the ground, because that was the lifestyle. It was, how do you call it? We call them taros, the ditches, the sewages.
Someone is drunk then.
Yeah, people were drunk and you pull them out of the sewages, because that was the life. And we used to experience a lot of war. So people used to get drunk, then fighting, and a lot of immorality in the region. That's why it was called Congo. So this happened, I began from 80s, if I'm not wrong, 90s, to until 2000, when the government of Kenya talked about the illicit brew and it was banned. That's when all this ceased.
Okay. So what you're saying is you've grown up in Congo?
Yes, I'm born and raised in Congo.
How was life in Congo?
Life in Congo, it depends from the perspective you're looking at life and how you're defining life. Because if you would ask me this question before my salvation, I would have told you a different perspective of how cool, how amazing it was. But after my eyes have been opened and now I know the reality, it's a different phase. So the beginning, if I would answer from my perspective right now, it was not really a good life. Yes.
Tell us about that not so good life.
When I was born, I was in class. I think I'm not so sure of the age that I was introduced into the illicit brew changa and bang. But I remember it was around when I was in class one, if I'm not, because I don't have the exact age. So my parents were, before that, despite the fact that we live in such kind of a setup, my parents are born again. And
Wait a minute. You were introduced to drugs
I was introduced.
when you're in class 1.
Yes, as early as class one. So we would wake up very early in the morning and my parents would tell us to do the prayer, dedicate everything to God, commit the day to God and allow Him to guide us. So, and at that time we were not so much advanced with prayers, so we would repeat our Father who art in heaven until our dad was done with prayers. So, and after that kind of prayer and good lifestyle, my parents were busy. So they would walk out, they would go do whatever they were doing, the hustle. They used to sell, how do we call it? It sounds good in Kiswahili, which was a samaki.
Oh, which was a samaki. Yeah.
which are basically the bones, you know, the way the fish is being skinned, then you take away the fillet, then there is that bone. So that bone is what they used to sell.
I actually like the soup from that.
The soup, it's basically for soup, but for us it was food. Now, when my parents will go search for that, they will leave us with the uncle. So with the cousin.
How old was your cousin then?
I don't know, but he was
He was a bit
old.
older.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And he was called Johnson, and he would introduce me. He will take me to a place called Kameda. Then he will take me. It depends with the day. Sometimes he will do me a changa, that is illicit brew, or bang. And after that, when I'm not feeling well, he will take me back home and tell my parents that I'm sick. So my parents will come say that I'm sick, and they will just see me sleeping, and that's all.
So your parents actually see you sleeping.
Yeah.
But in real sense, it's the effect.
It's the effect.
Of you having taken changa.
Yes. So that happened, and when I was introduced in class 1 in Kawangware, when I was in class 1 in Kawangware Primary School, I also met this group. So I didn't have somebody of my age who I would work with. So my cousin has introduced me into this. Now I'm meeting some friends in Kawangware Primary School who were, I think, in class 7, class 8. They were way older than me. So these are the people my parents introduced me to them because we used to come from the same place. And these people were also into drugs. So during the classes or after classes, they would tell me, chapa ka puff, just a slight puff. And they would also say, changa, that was the way of life. Like, I remember at that time when I was young, I knew that changa was the solution for everything. If you have a headache,
Changa.
I used to have a toothache. If you have a toothache,
Changa.
so to me, changa was everything. If you're feeling like you don't have the energy to face the day, just have a sip of it.
Okay, so this is you in primary school.
Yes.
You went through primary taking changa.
Not through primary. When I was in class 3 is when my parents realized that there is something that is wrong with this young man.
Okay.
So in class 3, I think my parents loved me and they were looking for the solution. Apparently, the solution they thought of, to me, I think it's not the best one, because they decided to separate me from Kawangware, Congo, where all this was being done, to go stay with my grandmother in the village in Siaya County. So I moved from Nairobi into the village in Siaya County.
Okay.
Now, when I went to Siaya County, I went to a village in a school called, are you ready for this? The school is called Bar Anyanga Primary School.
Bar Anyanga. What does Bar Anyanga mean?
Bar is basically a forest. Anyanga, I'm not so sure, but something like very early in the morning, like Nyango.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but it's a school in the forest. That's the meaning of the bar. So it's a school in the forest where we used to live in the forest, and sometimes we will hear the stories of hyenas, fight some big snakes, but it was a good life then. It's the school now. What happened during that time, my parents were still in the city. I'm with my grandmother in the village. Now, one of the things that again is known with the Siaya County, a place called Ugenya, they're the people who produce the best illicit brew, this changa, in that region.
So your parents moved you from Congo
Yes.
Taking you to Ugenya.
To Ugenya.
Thinking they're actually getting a solution.
Yes.
And not knowing they're actually taking you to a worse place.
Yeah.
Than where they got you from.
Yeah. And one of my aunties used to prepare illicit, this illicit. So that's how I learned. But by that time I was not taking, so I had to pretend that I'm a good boy because my parents were not so much exposed to this, and I really wanted to come back to my parents. So the best thing was to me abstain from all this. So when that happened, I would prepare. So I knew how to prepare. I knew how to do everything concerning the illicit brew. And during that time, one of the things that really affected my life is that's the time I encountered a rejection. I missed my parents. My brothers, they were all in the city. I'm the only one in the village. So I felt like I'm rejected. I had a lot of bitterness. I had a very negative perspective of life and my approach of life. Life was not good because I used to go to school barefooted. Jiggers had fed on all my feet. I used to say they had utengano, like the book I did in high school. Because when jiggers they feed on your feet, they tend to separate, they space out. So I used to have such kind of feet, and it used to be funny. Yeah. Then with the way I used to be the cool kid in Baranyanga because I'm from Nairobi. So there is a way they treat you. Yeah. But deep within, I felt a lot of. I didn't enjoy life then. Yeah, so that happened. So at least from class 4 to class 7, at least I avoided using drugs because I was hoping that I would win the trust of my parents and come back to Nairobi. Yeah, but what happened is I came back to Nairobi, do my class 8 and joined Form 1. When I came back to Durara Primary School, then I joined Form 1. Now that's when now you see the reason why I had to introduce this part of rejection, bitterness, hatred, because everything was concealed. Okay. What my parents saw me dealing into drugs, they didn't give me a solution. They cover up everything. Okay. So when I joined Form 1, this is the time at least I'm able to make my decision. I'm not relying on my parents to make my decision. So everything is about me. It's about you. So one of the mistakes that happened, everything exploded.
Wait a minute. You left Congo, went to Ugenya.
Yes.
Stayed in Ugenya, and now you're actually back in Nairobi.
Congo.
Congo again.
Yes.
We will get back there. Yes, guys, if you haven't watched our previous episodes, feel free to follow us and subscribe. Our social media handles on YouTube is The Arts in Heart Official, and on Instagram and Facebook, The Art in Heart.
You are watching Art in Heart, your home of authentic conversations.
Welcome back. This week we are talking about drug and substance abuse. We have the pleasure of hanging out with the one Felix Otieno. Felix.
Yes.
You've come back from Ugenya, Nairobi, Congo, where your parents removed you from.
Yes.
And you're saying that this is where life began. Tell us about that life.
By the time I was joining Form 1, I have a big bro who was in Baricho High. Okay. So he told me that once you join Form 1, there is this cartel, a group of people who always monopolize Form 1s. Okay. So they told me, don't allow anybody to pin you down. So I had that mindset when I was joining Form 1. It's not a cool place, but you need to fight back. So when I joined Form 1 the first week, I don't know what I did, but I had an issue with the head boy. So head boy gave me the punishment that I was supposed to do. Then with the mindset of what my brother has told me, I was like, are you trying to monopolize me? So I said, no, I will not agree with this. So after having that issue with the head boy, he had an issue, he was so bitter, and instead of just calming things down, he slapped me. And to me, the way I was raised, you don't take a slap from a man, you retaliate.
If you're a man.
If you're a man, yeah. That's what my dad taught me. Don't allow any man to beat you, you are a man. So the best thing I knew was to fight back, not only that I'm fighting the head boy. So this became an issue of Form 4s and Form 1s. Yeah, so when the Form 4 saw what I did to the head boy, they came to rescue the head boy. Then Form 1 saw, Yeah, not me. They were on the head boy side because me, I was fighting back. He slapped me and I was fighting back and I was ready to go the way. And the Form 1 saw and they were like, this is not good. So the Form 1 now came to rescue me when the Form 4s,
It is Form 4 against
Form 1s. And that introduced us to something different. When that happened, they went into our class, especially me, and they stole everything that I had in high school that my parents, not my parents, my sponsor has purchased for me. Now, and everybody was involved. They took all our books and everything. So we didn't have anything. So because of that bitterness and everything, and you knew everything that was concealed in the past, I told these friends, now the best thing that we can do, let's go and revenge. Let's go and break their class and steal everything. Now, once we stole everything in their class, we realized, what next? We have the books, we have everything, what do we do? And one friend suggested, let's go to Kawangware market and sell the books. And once we sold the books, we realized, quick money. So these people want to fight us, but for us, we can make money. So we went, and at that time, a friend said, now what do we do with all this money? And the best thing to do was, let's go into the club, let's buy some alcohol. That's the time when this alcohol was introduced, Napoleon. Yeah, we used to call it Naps. This is the time that Naps was introduced. So we really enjoyed. So for us to act with the hangover that we had in the morning, we had to look for another money again. Go back, steal the books, buy Naps, and now that began to be our lifestyle. So in the moment of just thinking that we are taking alcohol just once, celebrating, it was like once a week now. On a weekend, we try to look for that money. We go for the club, look for that money, and at least we enjoy ourselves. What they say, kusherekea. Sherehe. That's how they say it now. At least let's be happy so that we will avoid it. So during this process of doing all this, I was creating a gang. I was creating a group for myself. And now we are going to a place, we are looking for money to buy alcohol. Now it teaches a point that one bottle is not enough, so you need two. So you need to keep increasing. And the more we are doing this, it's becoming part of us. So we cannot survive. We cannot survive without alcohol. Now, the moment you get this, you are exposed to the same people who do the same thing that you are doing. So I was introduced to these people who are, especially the people who are selling alcohol. Now, they told me now, be my, what we can be doing, look for me for the client in high schools, because we used to influence several high schools. Look for me for high school students that I'll be giving you a commission. Then during that, I would come, pick this a bottle of Naps, and will sell in school. And through selling, I was getting my commission. And that was my first source of income. Now I'm not selling the books and the uniforms.
You're not selling the real thing.
Now I'm selling alcohol. Now after selling alcohol, I realized by the time I was getting to Form 2, the people had introduced to bang and everything, because I used to do bang as a child. Now at least I know people who produce bangs. So I will go because now the business for alcohol is doing well. So I can introduce another thing. So I started selling bang to the student. And that was another good commission. So these started to increase until I reached a point I met people who are selling coke or cocaine. Yeah. Who are selling coke. But for coke, it was a bit strict business and I didn't really want to be exposed. So I didn't really go into depth with that. So I introduced my gang into soft drugs. So we did well with soft drugs, but it was so deep. Like I remember that when I was in Form 2, Form 3, I could not go to school without a sip of alcohol. It was into
like medicine.
Yeah, it was a medicine, it was everything to me.
Wait a minute, this is you selling drugs, selling alcohol, cocaine, and bang. You're still in school?
Yes, I'm still in school.
Studying?
In real sense, I always say that I wasted my 4 years in high school, because when this life began to pick up, I realized there is no need of stressing up going to school when I can have
Just
my
make
money.
yeah.
And that's the time 50 Cent had produced the movie Get Rich or Die Trying. So the key thing, I've been born and raised in ghetto, so the only thing that I need in life is to get the money. So to me, education was not a priority. It's only something that my parents had forced me to go to school, so I was just going to school.
For the
But
sake
to
of
me,
going to school.
it was not going to class. It was to look for the business opportunity and to do everything that I will do. And selling these soft drugs was one of the best option that will give me quick money. Now, when that used to happen, there is no way you can be selling alcohol every now and then. So I was introduced into clubbing. So I knew, like, on Wednesday I would go to Chemil. While joining clubs like Chemil, I realized there is a group of people who we call them the bouncers, people at the gate. These people who used to train in the same gym that I used to train in.
Wow. Okay.
So these people, they would ask me for some connection of drugs, of ladies. So to me, it was about business.
Business.
You want a high school lady, I can connect you with one, then you pay me. You want to me, it was just transaction. That's what I was good at. And this thing kept affecting me, but I'm not dealing with the solution. So this group of young people that we've been growing with, it reaches a point that we are now so much addicted into drugs that one bottle is not enough. Some are deep into cocaine, and we need to sustain this life. So it reached a point that we had to come out of the school compound and just soft drugs, and we will go into the street at night and do what we call ngeta.
Mko mnapiga watu ngeta kwa street. Streets za Nairobi.
Streets za Nairobi.
Okay.
We will go for the ngetas. We will go for the match, like when FC Leopard and Gor Mahia are playing. We know that's a day for business for us. I will go pay for that to watch the game, but my agenda is not to watch the game. I know that in that field, I'm on the business, and from Nyayo Stadium or Kasarani to town, where I'll be taking a match, I'll have more than 10 phones. I know I'll have enough money for rent or for anything that I needed. So life was good because I had exposed myself to a lot of things, and I had smart people who will do that. So this increased, and now we realized that now we really need to up our game. So it was some of the people, sharing sounds better, we were supposed to, one of our friends will go hire the gun from another cartel that we knew somewhere. And through that, we will go at night and just try to threaten people so that we can get whatever we want. So it was a good life back then. And that's how the cartel was formed.
You are watching Art in Heart, your home of authentic conversations.
The worst that I had that day, which I never expected, is now she accused me of giving her HIV/AIDS.
This is for my fallen soldiers. We miss you. I know you got.
These people are becoming clever with motorbikes, but we are on them.
It was the end of the road for one of the suspects. While scenes like these one would think should be out of bounds for the public, the police still had to manage the crowd, even as they combed the area for the remaining two suspects.
I used to say one of our alarms was the bullet, because people used to be killed. So it was part of life to see people dying, to see people lying in the ditches, seeing people that alichapwa, alishikwa yake, ngeta, and ako hapo hivyo amekufa, my ID and everything. That was normal. But it opened my eyes when my friend was shot dead. Now I realized, wow, imefika home sasa. And at first I was in pain, but later we realized this is a hero. So the friends say, let's celebrate this hero. because he has died in the battlefield. And I remember that time he came with alcohol and everything. We celebrated that night. We used to sing that song, "To the fallen soldier, we miss you," hoping that he will come again. Because to us, he was a fallen soldier. And this was just the beginning. In a span of less than 2 weeks, another day we were going into the school in the morning, and we were 3 of us. So the first person had stolen the phone from another person, and he gave it to the second person. Then I was the third person, I was to pick it. Then somebody saw them handing over, and it was in Kawangware market, very early in the morning, and 2 of my friends were stoned to death while I was watching. And now that I began to hit that life is getting real. So it reached a point now, I was afraid of people. So I could not walk just in public. I could not just do anything because I knew now the public is looking for me. Police officers are looking for me. I'm wanted everywhere. And that means I just need to live my life in a very sensitive way. And again, on the other hand, I need money. I still need money. So that continued. And I remember there is a time we went for a mission, and as we were running, because the police officers were chasing us, I was the last person. Then there was a gunshot. And I don't know how God rescued me, because by the time I was just making my corner is when the gun was shot. And it missed me with quite a few inches, but I could not do anything. It was at around 9 a.m. My friends picked me from a.m. in the morning. Yeah, my friends picked me up, and I remember waking up in the evening, just the sound of what I heard. And that's the time I realized life now it's becoming tougher. So that's the first time I survived the bullet. And to me, things were, I need to change my direction.
I have a question. You've mentioned that your 2 friends were shot to death.
Yeah.
Were you in school in that period?
Yes, all these were happening when I was in school.
That day when they were shot dead, did you go to school or what happened?
We were supposed to go to school, but after that I had to just go home. So most of my time when I was in Form 2s and Form 3, if you ask me anything during that time of period, I can't tell you. The only thing I can tell you in my high school life is some of the definitions while I was in Form 1. From Form 2 to Form 3,
You can't remember.
I can't remember most of these things. What we used to do, we would pay teachers, and the teacher, they would give us marks. And if we were told to go bring the parents, Kawangware market had a lot of parents, so we will go pay. Pay a parent to come represent you.
I've heard that story. I just didn't know it's true until now that you mentioned it.
That was our life. And sometimes I go to Kawangware market, I see them, and nowadays I preach to them, because after that, the people who at least helped me to stand in salvation, that's why I still love Kawangware, because there are several people who will testify. They saw me, I went to them as a parent, and now I'm going to them to proclaim about Jesus. Yeah.
So as we wind up, you've mentioned that after you missed a gunshot, that's when you realized that, Manze, this life, it's not as it seems. So what happened? What was your turning point?
During that time, before turning point, I think I had lost, there were several killings now. Now after 2 weeks, a friend was shot, somebody killed.
And as they left the scene of crime, partly glad that they had accomplished their mission.
Another deal, now it was a good ground, because at least you coordinate with Kibera, Kawangware, Islando, so at least you know several people. Now, these people who I know, I would hear them being killed, people who were surrounding me. By the time I was giving my life to Jesus Christ, I had a list of like 19, 20 people who were shot to death in mob justice. Like I remember there is a day, like 6 of them were shot at once. Yeah, one day, 6 gone. And I remember at that time my mind could not capture all this. So I attempted to commit suicide, because I was wondering, why is it Yeah, I was hoping that at least that bullet will get me and I will be a soldier. But again, I'm missing the bullet, and I'm not dying. And death seems to be the best thing, yeah, at this time, because I don't have hope in life. I've not studied. If you give me a Form 2 exam, I can't do it. If you give me a Form 3, I can't do anything. So I was so sure that I'll never celebrate my 18th birthday. That was, I was so sure. Because the way I started seeing my friends dying, I knew this is the destination, yeah. So every day I would wake up knowing today might be my last day. And that's why when I used to get that money, we would go clubbing just to waste it all. Yeah, because this might be my last day. I will come out of this place, I might not go. So we used to have every morning, we will celebrate each other, tell each other, manze ukitoboa, we tukumbuke, we come faithful bado. And all of us were loyal to the gang. All of us, none of us betrayed each other. So, and that's when, if you go to high school, you realize, my teachers will tell me, I'm an angel. I don't mess with anyone. The same thing my parents. My parents never knew anything of what was happening. Because to my parents, I don't talk. Most of us, we used to pretend that we're introverts, that we don't have conversation. We don't talk. But the reason why we don't talk is because we are either drunk or a lot of things are happening. So, but if you go to the street and people who know you, they know you are a demon. So trying to commit suicide, that one, the first time I did, it was, I did a lot of, how do you call it, rat and rat, this thing to kill, to kill, how do you call
Somebody
it?
used to kill rats in the
Yeah, the one that used to kill rat in the house.
This is you trying to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Gone through life, tried drugs, lost people, and nothing makes sense.
Yeah, I was hopeless. I felt the void deep within me, and I think I could not take it anymore. I've tried drugs to quench the thirst, but again, it's not working out. I had the best company of friends, but still I'm feeling like there is that emptiness. So the best thing, I asked, why should I live? I didn't see the reason of living, and that's why this was happening. So I tried, and I don't know how. That day, a friend came to my rescue, and I was rushed for medication, and that's how I survived that one. The next one, it was, I realized now, because I can't do this, so I knew friends who were taking some strong medicine. So I would just go chemist, because I was in a place like even the region, you can't just go buy anything anywhere. Most people know you.
Yeah.
So at least for medicine was easier. We'll collaborate with a friend, do this, yeah.
So this is the second attempt.
Yeah, this was second attempt.
Tried rat and rat.
Yeah, now I'm
Now
trying
to overdose medicine.
to overdose
just to
medicine.
See if you can take
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
We are talking to Felix Onwatch, who has had a background of drug abuse, got into a gang, lost friends, and now he's at a point where he can't take it anymore. You're watching Art in Heart. Committed suicide 2 times, all backfired. This is the story of the one Felix Onwatch, who drug and substance abuse was his. Felix, how was life from then?
Life, if you would ask me that particular one, life was meaningless. I didn't have hope. I hated everything to do with life. Then the same way you see when you are in high school, if you are into drugs, ladies are always part of the deal. So I met this lady who was in a high school. When we went Form 4, she was in Form 3. And this lady was passionate about God, and one of the CU members. Now this is one of the CU members and the other person from the other world. And she was my girlfriend then. And this lady saw that the kind of life I was living, but God used her in amazing way to try to convince me come from this side of the world to this other, to give my life to Christ. But what really happened during that particular moment of our conversation, we had planned to burn down our school because we had planned for other schools as well. So during that moment, when the deal backfired, some of my friends were taken to prison. Then I was suspended for 2 weeks.
From school.
Yeah, from school.
So even after trying suicide and it didn't work, you didn't change. You still come back to school and try to
School was the best place. This is the platform. This is where we used to get every connection. So for me, school was not a place of education.
It was like a platform.
School was a platform for me to have my life now. Anything I wanted was connected to school. Now, home was a place for me to hide.
Also, you do your things in school,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
go hide at home.
Yeah, then at least I had that easy access. I would say he's still a student. And that was a good escape way. So we are in this place, we had tried to burn down school, and it backfired again. So some of my friends were arrested, people who the teacher thought that had planned. So after that, I was suspended for 2 weeks. Then when I came back, I met two of my friends who had also, during these 2 weeks now, it was just a moment for me to commune. This is the time again I encountered God, because I remember praying during these 2 weeks and telling God, and my parents had warned me, if I hear that you were involved in that, you're dead. And I remember praying, telling God, if you will rescue me from this, I will serve you. Making a vow, apparently not understanding the power of what I was saying then. Now, during these 2 weeks is when, personally, I said that's the time I was converted. That's the time I made the decision. But I came back to school during the series when I went in public and I said, "Kwanzia leo nimeokoka." And I told the gang and the people that you people continue with their life. And it was a dangerous decision, because in the gang, if you betray them, they kill you.
That's true.
But I told them, if you people, whatever you people will want, but I'm going for Jesus. So to them, they made fun because of the girlfriend I was dating then. And again, for the other hand, the CU people didn't want me because of the problem I'd caused during the years. Yeah, so they didn't want me, and most of the time they will tell me in the face. Like I remember when I got born again, one of them told me, "Fellow ukiokoka hata shetani ataokoka." And that to me, that statement lived, and that person passed on. The person who told me passed on around 2019. And even in that moment, people knew, because this is what he told me, and that word made me to stand strong. Ukiokoka hata shetani ataokoka. And so after the gang went, and some newcomers came to school. One of them is Alex Savai, and the other person is MC Balozi. Now, these two people played a critical role, because they helped me now to try to forget the old lifestyle, and we started a new gang, new friendship that was so radical about Jesus. And after experiencing all that, I was afraid of nothing, so I would go to the extreme to proclaim the gospel. I would go anywhere, and it's the foundation. The reason why I'm not afraid to share the gospel, even in the Islam-dominated or any religion, is because of the past life. I remember sharing the gospel in some of the places like Samburu, and it was at a place of gunshot, places like Ilifi, when they literally fought us because of the gospel. To me, it was not a big deal because of where I've been from. So one thing that I learned during this period, that the same way the scripture says in the book of Job chapter 42 verses 2, that nothing is impossible with God, and none of his plans can be thwarted. If God had purposed that one day I'll be a mouthpiece, I'll be his vessel, and nothing was able to separate me from this divine assignment. No situation, no circumstance was able to separate from this. But yeah, for those people who are into drugs and substance, I'll tell you the truth. You know, one of the things that this kind of a lifestyle did to me, it was hiding the truth. At that particular time, I was engaging into drugs and living with these people. I saw it was cool, because that's the message that I had received. That's what movie had portrayed to me. Having ladies around you, having drugs, it's a cool life. But the truth is, this thing is killing you. How does it kill you? Number one, it robs away the passion of what God had purpose for you, what you love doing. It robs away the passion. After robbing the passion, it robs the potential, the ability for you to live for it. And number three, it robs your posterity, the legacy that people would like to remember you from. And this is the life that God had purpose for you. God gave you passion, God gave you the potential, and God gave you an ability to live your life that people will remember you in a godly way, the posterity. Now, if you miss the 3 P's, you'll miss the 4th piece, which is the purpose.
Wow. Okay.
So, all of us, nobody's an accident. All of us are carrier of something that is divine. There is a supernatural ability that God has bestowed upon each and every person. Now, the moment you go into drugs, you are robbing what God has bestowed upon you, and you're trying to sell it to this other thing. And that is the Satan strategy. The scripture says in John chapter 10, verses 10, that he came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I love part B that says, but I have come, that is Jesus Christ, so that you may have life and have it in abundance.
That is the story of Felix Otieno, drug and substance abuse. And it's interesting what he mentioned, that sometimes we may go into it thinking that we are finding a solution, yet that is not the case. Thank you so much for watching Against All Odds. This is Art in Heart, your home of authentic conversation.